So you got this problem. You've been jumping rope for a couple weeks, a month. You've made some changes in your life and you're looking for results. And I don't blame you. But the problem is that you haven't lost any weight yet. You've either gained weight or you haven't lost any weight whatsoever. You're frustrated, you're not sure what to do. Well, in this video, I'm going to go through 5 reasons that you may not be losing weight, even though you've incorporated jump rope into your routine and you're starting to make healthier choices, and what you can do about those 5 reasons and finally start to see that number on the scale go down so that you can feel better and live better and be more healthy. All right, let's get into this. The first reason that you may not be losing weight, even though you've incorporated a good jump rope routine, is that you're continuing to eat too much sugar. If you look at the research that a lot of experts have done on sugar, because we've started to see that sugar is quite a harmful substance when consumed in high amounts, as we do in most first world countries, that you should not consume more than 38 grams of sugar per day if you're a male and 26 grams of sugar per day if you're a female. Now, the reason that sugar can cause weight gain even if you're exercising is because sugar spikes your blood sugar. Especially the more refined the sugar is, the more chemically altered it is, the more it will spike your blood sugar. And what that in turn does is it causes your pancreas to release more insulin throughout your body. And insulin, the amount of insulin that your body releases, causes weight gain. Insulin is what's called a lipogenic. It is something that causes fat to be gained and then stored. So this is one of the chief problems behind diabetes, is that what diabetes, type 2 diabetes normally is it is a long-term sugar consumption problem where the body finally becomes insulin resistant. It doesn't matter how much insulin the pancreas introduces, your body still cannot cope with the rising amount and the falling amount of blood sugar. So that's essentially what diabetes is. So the key here is that sugar is the culprit for much of the problems and the health problems that we face today, including obesity, diabetes, weight gain, all sorts of other things can ultimately be linked back to sugar. So with sugar, it truly doesn't matter how much you are exercising to a point. If you're doing 10 to 15 minute jump rope exercise per day, but you're still eating 60, 70, 80 grams of sugar, you're still drinking 2 or 3 cans of Coca-Cola or Pepsi or Fanta per day, what it will end up happening is you will likely not see any results in the way of weight loss whatsoever. You'll probably see the scale continue to increase in number because sugar does nothing good for you in that sense when it's encased in Coca-Cola, Fanta, all the added sugars that come in most packaged candies these days and things of that nature. Sugar can be directly linked to weight gain because of blood sugar and because of the insulin response that I talked about earlier in the video. So how do you counteract this? The first thing that I would recommend is to begin cutting out bringing sugar into your house. I'm not saying not to enjoy a bowl of ice cream out at a restaurant every now and then. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy a piece of cheesecake or apple pie every now and then at the restaurants, but try to save your sugar consumption for going out to eat whenever that may be for you. If you bring sugar into your house, you're going to be more likely to snack on it more often. So if you buy a whole cheesecake, then it's going to be quite difficult to exercise the discipline necessary to only have one slice every few days, because you're going to take a bite of it. And I can tell you this because I used to be there. You're going to take a bite of it, you'll finish your piece, and then you'll want 2 or 3 more pieces, and then you'll be right back to square one. What I'm saying here is don't try to cut out everything at once, because that is nearly impossible because of how addictive sugar is. But what you should do in this situation, how you can counteract eating too much sugar, is when you go to the grocery store, look on the food labels, avoid anything with added sugar. Don't bring any soda into the house. Don't bring any candy into the house. Don't bring anything into the house with a lot of added sugar. And when I say a lot of added sugar, I'm basically talking about most cereals out there. Most are all sodas, all regular sodas, not diet soda, but regular soda. All that stuff has sugar in it. Do your best to, when you go to the grocery store, or if your spouse or your partner goes to the grocery store, ask them politely and kindly to stop introducing products with excessive amounts of added sugar in them, and try to keep your sugar intake every day below 38 grams for males and 26 grams for females. Second reason you may not be losing weight is related to sugar, and this is that you're consuming too many refined carbohydrates. What is a refined carbohydrate? A refined carbohydrate is a carbohydrate that has been industrially, chemically altered to strip out all the nutrients, because the nutrients don't taste very good, and then you have that product at the end. A prime example of a refined carbohydrate is white bread. White bread has been chemically altered to strip all the fiber and all the bran and all the reasonably nutritious aspects of the bread to produce a piece of white bread. So it is man-made, chemically altered. So what you have with a refined carbohydrate is you don't have any fiber in it to counteract what a carbohydrate does to your body. And what a carbohydrate does to your body is exactly what sugar does to your body, because sugar is a form of refined carbohydrate. It spikes your blood sugar, which causes an insulin response from your pancreas, which causes you to gain weight over time. So the sugar consumption and the refined carbohydrate consumption are one and the same, except sugar is a bit more harmful because it is pure. There is nothing in sugar that has any redeeming qualities. When I'm talking about table sugar, I'm talking about added sugar in things like sodas, candy, and cereals. White bread, I would say, is a little bit better, but not much. There's very little nutritional value, as opposed to sugar, which has basically no nutritional value. But still, these refined carbohydrates, white bread, white rice, a lot of the cereals out on the market, all of those types of carbohydrates have been refined down to strip out all the nutrients that don't really taste all that great, but that help your body and your blood sugar stabilize, or that keep it from going out of control too much. All of that has been stripped from the carbohydrates. So all you have left is something that will spike your blood sugar violently and then cause an insulin response from your pancreas in order to get your blood sugar under control. My recommendation for not eating too many refined carbohydrates is similar to my recommendation with sugar, is to not cut them out completely, but do it gradually. What I do now is I don't keep any white bread in my house. I don't keep any white rice in my house. I don't keep any refined carbohydrates in the house. But what I do is when I go out to eat with my spouse, I'll have a burger on white bread, but it's just that one burger. I don't have a pack of burgers. I don't have a pack of white bread buns in my house or anything along those lines. It's that one time, usually on a Saturday or Sunday night, I enjoy myself and I savor the moment. I have an unhealthy piece of white bread and then I keep it moving. So I don't allow any of that stuff to come into my house, so that it doesn't take me exercising discipline over and over again, exercising willpower continuously. Willpower and discipline is like a muscle. The more you have to use it, the better you'll get at it. But if you're in the gym lifting weights, there comes a point where you can't lift the weight anymore because your muscles are too tired. Discipline and willpower are the same thing. What you want to do is to make it easy for yourself so that when it is time to exercise discipline, you can do it, and you don't have to do it up to the point that you reach discipline or muscle, in this case, failure. Reason number 2, refined carbohydrates. Do your best to cut them down. You don't have to cut them completely out of your diet. I don't think they're as dangerous as sugar, but the jury's out on that. But try to cut them down out of your diet. Try to cut the white bread, the white rice. Definitely cut the sugar down, and try to keep your diet relatively clean of refined carbohydrates, and you will likely see a change in your weight and your health. The third reason is relying too much on jump rope and not moving around enough. Back when I was in my early 20s, I thought that if I did 1-2 mile run per day on cardio days, and I did some weight training on weight training days, that I didn't have to do anything else the rest of the day. And that attitude caught up to me. I'm not talking about working out 2, 3, 4 times a day, but what I am talking about is making a mindful effort to move around. That could be walking up and down the stairs a few times during the day in your house, or taking a quick 10 to 15 minute walk around your neighborhood, parking in the back of the parking lot at your job instead of fighting with everybody for the parking lot next to the building. Park in the back and then walk all the way in and get some extra steps that way. A little bit of movement done continuously over time, paired with rapid amount of intense movement, is going to move the needle in the long term. What you don't want to do is do one workout during the day and then just sit for the rest of the day. That is exactly what you don't want to do. And it's difficult because a lot of us work on computers. A lot of us work in jobs where we're in front of a computer all day, or we're on a phone all day, and our leadership or our bosses haven't made the effort to incorporate times in the day to move around. If you are in a leadership position in your job, see if you can do things like having walking meetings, or encouraging people to get out from under their desk and to start walking around a little bit. I know that at my job there's a step contest where you can submit your steps for the month, and I think you get a reward or something along those lines if you come in first, second, or third place. So people are starting to understand how important it is to not just rely on exercise, but to move throughout the day. But what you truly can't do, and I can't stress this enough, is you can't do a 20-30 minute workout and then just sit for the rest of the day and expect to get results. What you want to do is you want to do that workout and then, for instance, set a timer for every 50 minutes to get up and walk around for 10 minutes. Doing that throughout the day is going to move the needle. One thing that I have on my Fitbit is I have a reminder. My Fitbit will actually vibrate and remind me every hour to take at least 250 steps. It might not seem like much, but that done over a period of years is going to help with weight loss, and it's also going to help keep you healthy. Human beings, we were not made to just sit behind a desk all day. We're entering, or we're in, the information age where much of the jobs these days, and more so, increasingly more jobs down the line in the next 30 or 40 years, are going to be computer based. So it's going to become increasingly more difficult to be aware and to find the time to move outside of your exercise routine. But what you can do, as I mentioned earlier, you can get a fitness tracker and have it remind you to move. You can set a timer on your phone or your watch to get up every 50 minutes to move for 10 minutes. You can do walking meetings at your job, or if you're teleworking like I am at the time of this recording, you can do your best to take calls on your phone and walk around your house or walk around your neighborhood while you're in a telework-based meeting. Fourth reason, and this one is going to be a bit controversial because there are a lot of people who believe that you should be eating 6 or 7 small meals per day. And I think that it all depends on what your goals are. So if you're trying to lose weight, I would say that if you're eating 6 or 7 times per day, you may want to rethink that and try a form of intermittent fasting. Here's why I recommend that. It's because unless you're tracking everything you're eating, it is difficult to understand just how many calories you're consuming every time you eat. So I like to make it easier. I like to do intermittent fasting and eat 1 or 2 meals per day so that I can exercise some form of portion control. I know that with looking at my Fitbit that I burn X amount of calories and I haven't eaten it all today, so I know that I've got some trade space if I want to have a bigger meal. Eating throughout the day also takes a lot more discipline because you got to be aware of what you're eating, and it leaves it up to a bit more temptation than if you leave it to just 1 or 2 meals per day. The other reason I would recommend trying intermittent fasting and skipping breakfast to make a 16-hour fasting window where you eat nothing for 16 hours is because at this point, fasting has been scientifically proven to aid in not only weight loss, but longevity. There are so many benefits to fasting. Fasting is one of those things that people disagree with, that they say that they have to eat breakfast, they have to have a glass of orange juice when they get up, they have to have a bagel or a bowl of Captain Crunch when they get up in the morning. I can't convince people one way or another. All I can tell you is that I disagree with that, and I'm a prime example of what intermittent fasting can do. It helped me lose around 40 pounds, and I've maintained that weight loss for nearly 4 years now. It worked for me, and it works for most people. It does work for most people. So I would say give it a shot. Eating often doesn't give your body the time or the ability to recover from the digestive process. And the digestive process is taxing on the body. So I would recommend, if you're eating 6 or 7 meals per day, maybe you want to reconsider. Maybe you want to try intermittent fasting. I use the app Zero. It's helped me out. I haven't missed a day since November 2019. It's easy to record your fast. It keeps a record of all your fasts in the database. There is a paid version, but I use the free version, and I've had no issues or concerns with Zero whatsoever. It's one of the apps that I use the most on my phone. Fifth and final reason that I'm going to go through today is eating too much. Eating too much and being in a caloric surplus, no matter how often you're working out. So if you're burning 3,000 calories a day, but you're eating 4,000 calories a day, it's going to be highly unlikely that you're going to lose any weight. So the way that I recommend getting around this is to be aware of what you're eating. And the way to be aware of what you're eating is to track everything you eat. Now, a lot of people say, hold up, I'm not tracking anything that I eat because I want to enjoy my meals. What I would say to that is, okay, you don't have to track everything you eat, that's fine. But if you're doing the same thing over and over again, and you're not trying anything new, then don't expect to get different results. You have to try new things if you want to do something that you've never done before. And that's a mantra that I try to live my life by. If I want something in my life that I've never had before, if I'm trying to achieve a goal that I've never achieved before, well then I'm going to have to do something different in my life in order to achieve that goal, because what I've been doing up to this point just hasn't been working. And it's not about pride, it's not about ego, it's just about recognizing I haven't been able to make this work up until now, so I might need to try something new. And that's what I would say to anybody who says, well, I'm not going to track anything I eat. I would say, well, just try it for a little while, see how it works. I've been tracking everything that I've eaten throughout the day, and I haven't been 100% perfect, but I've been tracking what I eat using MyFitnessPal on my phone since 2018, and I have not missed a day. And it has helped me become more aware of what I eat, because every time I eat something, and I do still enjoy myself, I go in and I log it into MyFitnessPal, and it says apple, 95 calories, burger, 550 calories, whatever, anything like that, so that I compare how much I've eaten to what I've burned on my Fitbit. And then that gives me a swag, it gives me an estimate of whether I'm in a caloric deficit or a surplus. And I'm not going to say these tools are 100% accurate, but again, that's not what it's about. It's about the awareness that it brings. Once you start tracking what you eat, and it doesn't even take that long with MyFitnessPal, you can use the barcode. It's got plenty of foods stored in its database. But once you start tracking what you eat, you'll be surprised at how many calories are in foods and how foods add up throughout the day, especially if you're eating 4 or 5 times a day, you're eating breakfast, you're eating snacks, all that stuff. You're gonna see those calories start to add up throughout the day, and then you're gonna have a better idea. We'll all have a better idea of why we haven't been losing weight, why we haven't been making any gains in that department, even though we've been incorporating exercise into our routines. So I would try to track what you eat. That's my recommendation. Try it for a week, see how it works. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised in the gains that you make in losing weight, but more importantly, becoming more healthy. I hope this video was helpful to you, and I hope that you learned something from it. Everybody's different. The human body is one of the most complex phenomenons on this planet. There's not any one person that's the same, but the strategies that I outlined in this video are likely to work for most people. And as I said earlier in the video, the first thing that you should do is you should always consult your family physician or your doctor, where you may have something with your thyroid or you might have a metabolic issue that needs to be addressed. Until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Jump rope to freedom. Peace. Thanks so much for your support. Take care and keep getting after it.